So we continue with the Samyutta Nikaya Suttas. Today is 21st of July, and we are on the 9th Samyutta, the 9th chapter, Vana Samyutta. The verses that have to do with the forest, or the woods, those monks who lived in the woods, their experiences. So now we come to 9.13. It's on page 302. On one occasion, a number of monks were dwelling among the Kosalans in a certain woodland thicket. They were restless, puffed up, personally vain, rough-tongued, rambling in their talk, muddle-minded, without clear comprehension, unconcentrated, scatterbrained, loose in their sense faculties. Then the Devata that inhabited that woodland thicket, having compassion for those monks, desiring their good, desiring to stir up a sense of urgency in them, approached them and addressed them in verses. In the past, the monks lived happily, the disciples of Gautama. Without wishes, they sought their alms. Without wishes, they used their lodgings. Having known the world's impermanence, they made an end to suffering. But now, like headmen in a village, they make themselves hard to maintain. They eat and then lie down, infatuated in others' homes. Having reverently saluted the Sangha, I here speak only about some. They are rejected, without protector, become just like the dead. My statement is made with reference to those who dwell in negligence. As for those who dwell in diligence, to them I humbly pay homage. Then those monks, stirred up by that Devata, acquired a sense of urgency. This is another one of those suttas where the Deva, out of compassion for the lazy monks, come to stir them up so that they become more diligent. Because if they know that somebody is watching them, then they dare not become so lazy. 9.14. On one occasion, a certain monk was dwelling among the Kosalans in a certain woodland thicket. Now on that occasion, when he had returned from his alms round, after his meal, that monk used to descend into a pond and sniff a red lotus. Then the Devata that inhabited that woodland thicket, having compassion for that monk, desiring his good, desiring to stir up a sense of urgency in him, approached him and addressed him in verse. When you sniff this lotus flower, an item that has not been given, this is one factor of theft. You, dear sir, are a thief of scent. And the monk said, I do not take, I do not damage. I sniff the lotus from afar. So for what reason do you say that I am a thief of scent? One who digs up the lotus stalks, one who damages the flowers, one of such rough behavior, why is he not spoken to? And the Deva said, when a person is rough and fierce, badly soiled like a nursing cloth, I have nothing to say to him, but it's to you that I ought to speak. For a person without blemish, always in quest of purity, even a mere hair's tip of evil appears as big as a cloud. And the monk said, surely, Spirit, you understand me, and you have compassion for me. Please, Spirit, speak to me again whenever you see such a deed. And the Deva said, we don't live with your support, nor are we your hired servant. You, monk, to know for yourself the way to a good destination. Then that monk, stirred by that Devata, acquired a sense of urgency. That's the end of the sutta. You see, in our precepts, there is a precept that says what is not given to us, we should not take. So here, maybe that Deva could have been a ascetic or a monk before. He seems to know the precepts. So he advised this monk that what is not given to you, why do you steal the scent of the flower? And the monk said, I don't damage the flower, I only smell it. Why don't you go and criticize those who dig up the lotus stalks, who damage the flowers, etc. Then he said, those people are not worth speaking to. Probably means that even he speaks to them, they won't heed his advice. But he says, you are different, you are quite pure. That's why I ought to speak to you. So the monk said, I appreciate that, and asked the Deva to advise him again. But the Deva said, I'm not your servant. So it's interesting. So now we come to the next chapter, Yakkha Samyutta. Discourses connected with Yakkhas. Yakkhas are a type of Devas. They belong to the lowest heaven, and the second lowest heaven. The lowest heaven is under the Chatu Maharajikas, the four great kings. So these Yakkhas, they might be mountain spirits, cave spirits and all that. And they might also, even the Sakadeva Raja, the Tavatimsa heaven, I think those devas are also sometimes called Yakkhas. 10.2. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Rajagaha on Mount Vulture Peak. Then the Yakkha Sakanamaka approached the Blessed One and addressed him in verse. Having abandoned all the knots as one fully released, it isn't good for you, an ascetic, to be instructing others. And the Buddha said, if, O Sakka, for some reason intimacy with anyone should arise, the wise man ought not to stir his mind with compassion towards such a person. But if with a mind clear and pure, he gives instructions to others, he does not become fettered by his compassion and sympathy. That's the end of the sutta. So here this Yakkha, these Yakkhas, because they have psychic power, they can read the minds of human beings. What we think, our thoughts, they can read. But they don't have the ability to judge deeply. So like in this case, he doesn't know that the Buddha is enlightened. So he thinks the Buddha is an ascetic. He should be meditating all the while. He should not be a busybody and teach others the Dhamma. And the Buddha says, if a person like him, he does not become fettered by his teaching, then it's all right for him to teach. 10.3. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Gaya at the Tankita bed, the haunt of the Yakkha Suchiloma. Now on that occasion, the Yakkha Kara and the Yakkha Suchiloma were passing by not far from the Blessed One. Then the Yakkha Kara said to the Yakkha Suchiloma, that is an ascetic. And the other replied, that is not an ascetic, that is a sham ascetic, a false ascetic. I'll soon find out whether he is an ascetic or a sham ascetic. Then the Yakkha Suchiloma approached the Blessed One and bent over the Blessed One. The Blessed One drew back. Then the Yakkha Suchiloma said to the Blessed One, are you afraid of me, ascetic? And the Buddha said, I'm not afraid of you, friend. It's just that your touch is evil. And the Yakkha said, I'll ask you a question, ascetic. If you won't answer me, I'll drive you insane, or I'll split your heart, or I'll grab you by the feet and hurl you across the Ganges. I'll stop here for a moment. Sometimes, like here, some of these devas, they threaten the Buddha or the Arahant monks. They say they can do three things. They can drive a human insane. Or here it says, I'll split your heart. But in other places they say, I can pull your heart out from your body. And the third one, I can grab you by the feet and throw you across the mountain, or here throw you across the Ganges river. And the Buddha said, I do not see anyone in this world, friend, with its devas, Mara and Brahma, in this generation with its ascetics and Brahmins, its devas and humans, who could drive me insane, or split my heart, or grab me by the feet and hurl me across the Ganges. But ask whatever you want, friend. And he asked, what is the source of lust and hatred? When spring discontent, delight and terror? That means, where does discontent, delight and terror arise from? Having arisen from what do the mind's thoughts toss one around as boys toss up a crow. And the Buddha said, lust and hatred have their source here. From this spring discontent, delight and terror. Having arisen from this, the mind's thoughts toss one around as boys toss up a crow. Sprung from affection, arisen from oneself, like the trunk-borne shoots of the banyan tree, manifold, clinging to sensual pleasures, like a maluva creeper stretched across the woods. Those who understand their source, they dispel it. Listen, O Yakkha. They crossed this flood so hard to cross, and crossed before for no renewed existence. So that's the end of the sutta. This Yakkha is asking, where does lust and hatred come from? And discontent, delight and terror. So the Buddha said, it arises from oneself. That means from inside us. Inside us means inside our mind. So if we want to cut this lust and hatred, discontent and all that, we have to go back to the source inside us. We come to the next sutta, 10.5. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anatta Pindika's park. Now on that occasion, a certain female lay follower had a son named Sanu, who had been possessed by a Yakkha. Then that female lay follower, lamenting on that occasion, recited these verses. To those who lead the holy life, who observe the Uposatha days, complete in 8 factors, on the 14th or 15th, and on the 8th of the fortnight, and during special periods, the Yakkhas do not spot around. So I have heard from the Arahants. But now today I see for myself the Yakkhas sporting with Sanu. Stop here for a moment. According to the commentary, this lady whose son is named Sanu, this Sanu was a Samanera. He had ordained with the intention of becoming a monk long term. But then there was discontent had arisen in his heart, and he was thinking of disrobing. So he came back to the house to see the mother and had this intention of telling the mother that she wanted to disrobe. And then this Yakkha who possessed him is supposed to be his mother from a previous life. So this Yakkha thought that Sanu, when Sanu wears the robe, she also gets the merit. But if Sanu disrobes, then it's also not good for her. So he wanted to discourage Sanu from disrobing, so he possessed Sanu, made him like crazy, like in a fit, foam coming out of the mouth and all that. So the present life mother was alarmed, and then the present life mother exclaimed, Yakkhas normally do not possess monks who keep the Uposatha days. But how is it today? She sees for herself this Yakkha playing around with Sanu. And the Yakkha replied, with those who lead the holy life, who observe the Uposatha days, complete in 8 factors. 8 factors are the 8 precepts. On the 14th or 15th and on the 8th of the fortnight. 8th of the fortnight is in the lunar calendar, is the 8th day and the 23rd day. And during special periods, the Yakkhas do not spot around. What you heard from the Arahants is good. When Sanu has awakened, tell him this injunction of the Yakkhas. Do not do an evil deed, either openly or in secret. If you should do an evil deed, or if you are doing one now, you won't be free from suffering, though you fly up and flee. And then the Yakkha left. And after the Yakkha left, Sanu woke up and she saw the mother crying. So he said, they weep, mother, for the dead, or for one living who isn't seen. When you see, mother, that I am alive, why, mother, do you weep for me? And Sanu's mother said, they weep, O son, for the dead, or for one living who isn't seen. But when one returns to the home life, after renouncing sensual pleasures, They weep for this one too, my son, although alive is really dead. Drawn out, my dear, from hot embers, you wish to plunge into hot embers. Drawn out, my dear, from an inferno, you wish to plunge into an inferno. Run forward, good luck be with you. To whom could we voice our grief? Being an item rescued from the fire, you wish to be burnt again. That's the end of the sutta. So the mother says that she weeps because Sanu has already renounced sensual pleasures, but now he wants to go back to the home life. So although alive, he's really dead. In the Dhamma, if a person does not cultivate the holy path, the spiritual path, then he's like a dead person, as good as a dead person if he does not progress. So that's why the mother said, even though alive, he's really dead. Then the mother says, he already come out from the hot embers, come out from the inferno, the fire, he wish to go back again. So the mother is advising him not to disrobe. So according to commentaries, after that they did not disrobe. So it's interesting here, sometimes not only monks, any person sometimes can be possessed for various reasons. 10.6. On one occasion, the Venerable Anuruddha was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anatha Pindika's park. Now on that occasion, the Venerable Anuruddha, having risen at the first flush of dawn, was reciting stanzas of Dhamma. Then the female Yakkha, Piyankara's mother, hushed her little child thus, "Do not make a sound, Piyankara. A monk recites Dhamma stanzas. Having understood a Dhamma stanza, we might practice for our welfare. Let us refrain from harming living beings. Let us not speak a deliberate lie. We should train ourselves in virtue. Perhaps we will be freed from the goblin realm." That's the end of the sutta. So you see this Yakkha, because Yakkha, she was in a very low Deva realm. Sometimes they are known as earthbound Devas. So they live around us. So sometimes like what we call Datokong, the earth spirit, mountain spirit. So when the Dhamma is recited or the Dhamma is taught, some of them are interested to hear. So like in this case, this Piyankara's mother, she asked her child to keep quiet, to listen to the Dhamma, so she knows about precepts and all that, not harming living beings, not to tell lies, etc. So that's why wherever monks or lay people practice the Dhamma well, and these devas are happy. They'll come and protect. The next sutta, 10.7. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anatha Pindika's park. Now on that occasion, the Blessed One was instructing, exhorting, inspiring, and gladdening the monks with the Dhamma talk concerning Nibbana. And those monks were listening to the Dhamma with eager ears, attending to it as a matter of vital concern, applying their whole mind to it. Then the female Yakkha, Punabasu's mother, hushed her little children thus, "Be quiet, Uttarika, be quiet, Punabasu. I wish to listen to the Dhamma of the teacher, the Supreme Buddha. When the Blessed One speaks of Nibbana, released from all the knots, there has arisen within me a deep affection for this Dhamma. In the world, one's own son is dear. In the world, one's own husband is dear. But for me, the quest for this Dhamma has become even dearer than them. For neither one's own son nor husband, though dear, can release one from suffering, as listening to true Dhamma frees one from the suffering of living beings. In this world steeped in suffering, fettered by aging and death, I wish to listen to the Dhamma that he, the Buddha, fully awakened to for freedom from aging and death. So be quiet, Punabasu. And the child Punabasu said, Mother dear, I am not talking. This Uttara is silent too. Pay attention only to the Dhamma. For listening to true Dhamma is pleasant. Because we have not known true Dhamma, we have been living miserably, Mother. He is the maker of light for bewildered devas and humans, enlightened, bearing his final body. The one with vision teaches the Dhamma. So here you see the son is also quite smart. And he says we have been living miserably because for the lower devas to find food also is not easy. So sometimes they have problem getting food, and sometimes they have to kill to get food. But in this case, like this Devi, she has been following the Dhamma, so she will keep the precepts. So the mother, Punabasu's mother, replied, it is good that my son has become so wise, he whom I bore and nursed at my breast. My son loves the pure Dhamma of the supremely enlightened one. Punabasu, be happy. Today I have emerged at last. Hear me too, O Uttara. The noble truths are seen. It's the end of the sutta. So here she's telling the children, be happy. Today she has emerged. Probably what she means, she says the Four Noble Truths are seen. That means she has entered the stream. She believes that she has understood the Dhamma and become a stream enterer. So we see in the suttas, it is said, suttas and the Vinaya, quite often the devas, they come to listen to the Dhamma. And devas and devis, they listen to the Dhamma and they understand it and they have attained a stream entry. 10.8. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Rajagaha in the cool grove. Now on that occasion, the householder Anathapindika had arrived in Rajagaha on some business. He heard a Buddha, it is said, has arisen in the world. He wanted to go and see the Blessed One immediately, but it occurred to him, it is not the right time to go and see the Blessed One today. I will go and see the Blessed One early tomorrow morning. Let's stop here for a moment. Here, this Anathapindika, he had not met the Buddha yet. So he was doing business and he came to Rajagaha and heard that there is a Buddha, enlightened one around. So he wanted to see the Buddha, but he thought it's too late in the evening or in the afternoon, not a good time to disturb the Buddha. So he decided he'll go the next morning. He lay down with his mindfulness directed to the Buddha. And during the night, he got up 3 times thinking it was morning. Then the householder, Anathapindika, approached the gate of the charnel ground. Non-human beings opened the gate. Then the householder, Anathapindika, was leaving as the householder, Anathapindika, was leaving the city, the light disappeared and darkness appeared. Fear, trepidation and terror arose in him, and he wanted to turn back. But the Yakkha, Sivaka, invisible, made the proclamation. 100,000 elephants, 100,000 horses, 100,000 mule-drawn chariots, 100,000 maidens, adorned with jewelry and earrings, are not worth a 16th part of a single step forward. Go forward, householder, go forward, householder. Going forward is better for you, not turning back again. I'll stop here for a moment. So here, this Anathapindika, his actual name was Sudatta, but after he became a Buddha, he was called Anathapindika. That was his nickname. He was one who gave alms to the orphans. So he was so eager to see the Buddha that in the night he got up 3 times, thinking that it was morning. So when he decided to go, it was still a bit dark. So when he went, I think the non-human beings approached, opened the gate and provided light for him. And then later the light disappeared, and then he got fearful, and then the Yakkha Sivaka proclaimed to him, all these 100,000 elephants, horses, maidens, etc., jewelry, etc., is not worth the 16th part of a single step forward. So encourage him to go forward and see the Buddha. Then the darkness disappeared and light appeared to the householder Anathapindika, and the fear, trepidation and terror that had arisen in him subsided. Then the second time, as he went, the light disappeared and darkness appeared, and he got frightened. And when he got frightened, he wanted to turn back. The Yakkha Sivaka again proclaimed, asked him to go forward. A third time this thing happened. The light disappeared and darkness appeared before the householder Anathapindika. Fear, trepidation and terror arose in him, and he wanted to turn back. But the third time the Yakkha Sivaka, invisible, made a proclamation. 100,000 elephants, 100,000 horses, 100,000 mule-drawn chariots, 100,000 maidens, adorned with jewelry and earrings, are not worth the 16th part of a single step forward. Go forward, householder, go forward, householder. Going forward is better for you, not turning back again. Then the darkness disappeared and light appeared to the householder Anathapindika, and the fear, trepidation and terror that had arisen in him subsided. Then the householder Anathapindika approached the Blessed One in the cool grove. Let's stop here for a moment. Sometimes when we want to do something good, sometimes karmic obstructions seem to come. So it's like testing you, whether you are sincere or not. If you are sincere, especially in the holy path, when all these obstacles come, you are determined enough, all the obstacles will melt away. They stated somewhere, I remember reading, that the Buddha says, if a person is determined enough, even the devas cannot block him, cannot obstruct him. So it's important that we know what we are doing. If you know what you are doing is worth doing, however difficult it is, or however much obstacles come, we still persist, and then only we can achieve what we want. If we do things half-heartedly in this world, we can never succeed, we can never get success. So determination, sincerity, all these are very, very important. Always remember, sometimes Mara or other karmic obstacles can come to obstruct you, just to see whether you are sincere enough, whether you are determined enough. Now on that occasion, the Blessed One, having risen at the first flush of dawn, was walking back and forth in the open. The Blessed One saw the householder Anathapindika coming in the distance. He descended from the walkway, sat down in the seat that was prepared, and said to the householder Anathapindika, "Come, Sudatta." Then the householder Anathapindika, thinking, the Blessed One has addressed me by my name, thrilled and elated, prostrated himself right on the spot with his head at the Blessed One's feet, and said to him, "I hope, Venerable Sir, that the Blessed One slept well." And the Buddha said, "Always indeed he sleeps well, the Brahmana who is fully quenched, who does not cling to sensual pleasures, cool at heart, without acquisitions or without attachments, having cut off all attachments, having removed care from the heart, the peaceful one sleeps well, having attained peace of mind." And that's the end of the sutta. So here describes how Anathapindika had the first meeting with the Buddha. So the Buddha says he always sleeps well. If we do not have remorse, if we keep our precepts well, and we do a lot of wholesome karma, good deeds to help other beings, then we have a lot of happiness in our heart, nothing to disturb us, and we always sleep well. Next sutta, 10.12. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Alavi, the haunt of the Yakkha Alavaka. Then the Yakkha Alavaka approached the Blessed One and said to him, "Get out, ascetic." "All right, friend," the Blessed One said, and he went out. "Come in, ascetic." "All right, friend," the Blessed One said, and he went in. The second time, Alavaka, the Yakkha, asked the Blessed One to get out, and he went out. Second time, he asked him to come in, and he came in. Third time, the Yakkha Alavaka said to the Blessed One, "Get out, ascetic." And the Buddha said, "All right, friend," and he went out. "Come in, ascetic." "All right, friend," the Blessed said, and he went in. The fourth time, the Yakkha Alavaka said to the Blessed One, "Get out, ascetic." And the Buddha said, "I won't go out, friend. Do whatever you have to do." And Yakkha Alavaka said, "I'll ask you a question, ascetic. If you won't answer me, I'll drive you insane, or I'll split your heart, or I'll grab you by the feet and hurl you across the Ganges." Let's stop here for a moment. According to the commentaries, this Yakkha Alavaka, he resided in a cave. But on that particular occasion, he had gone away for some meeting, maybe with other devas. So the Buddha happened to come by there, and this Alavaka's wives, they probably recognized the Buddha as a holy man. So they invited the Buddha into that cave, the home of this Alavaka, and asked the Buddha to teach them the Dhamma. So the Buddha taught them the Dhamma. So Alavaka came back and he saw the Buddha with all his wives, and he was annoyed that the Buddha was talking to his wives, jealous. So that's why he asked the Buddha to get out, and the Buddha complied. He asked the Buddha to come in, the Buddha also complied. After 3 times, the Buddha refused to comply, and he threatened the Buddha. And the Buddha said, "I do not see anyone in this world, friend, with its devas, Mara and Brahma, in this generation with its ascetics and Brahmins, its devas and humans, who could drive me insane, or split my heart, or grab me by the feet and hurl me across the Ganges. But ask whatever you want, friend." And Alavaka asked, "What here is a man's best treasure? What practice well brings happiness? What is really the sweetest of taste? How lives the one who they say lives best?" And the Buddha said, "Faith is here a man's best treasure. Dhamma practiced well brings happiness. Truth is really the sweetest of taste. One living by wisdom, they say, lives best." I'll stop here for a moment. The first line that Buddha here says, "Faith is here a man's best treasure," probably refers to faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. And Alavaka asked again, "How does one cross over the flood?" I mean, the flood, the sea of suffering. How does one cross the rugged sea? How does one overcome suffering? How is one purified? And the Buddha said, "By faith one crosses over the flood. By diligence the rugged sea. By energy one overcomes suffering. By wisdom one is purified." Again Alavaka asked, "How does one gain wisdom? How does one find wealth? How does one achieve acclaim? How bind friends to oneself? When passing from this world to the next, how does one not sorrow?" And the Buddha said, "Placing faith in the Dhamma of the Arahants for the attainment of Nibbana. From desire to learn, one gains wisdom. If one is diligent and astute, doing what is proper, dutiful, one with initiative finds wealth. By truthfulness, one wins acclaim. Giving, one binds friends. That is how one does not sorrow when passing from this world to the next. The faithful seeker of the household life, in whom dwell these 4 qualities, truth, Dhamma, steadfastness, generosity, does not sorrow when he passes on. Come now, ask others as well, the many ascetics and Brahmins, whether there is found here anything better than truth, self-control, generosity and patience." And Alavaka said, "Why now should I ask this question of the many ascetics and Brahmins? Today I have understood the good pertaining to the future life. Indeed, for my sake the Buddha came to reside at Alavi, Today I have understood where a gift bears great fruit. I myself will travel about from village to village, town to town, paying homage to the Enlightened One and to the excellence of the Dhamma. That's the end of the sutta. So here you see this Yakkha, Alavaka, he threatened the Buddha, threatened to kill the Buddha if the Buddha could not answer his questions. He had probably asked other ascetics and he did not get a satisfactory answer from them. So having come to the Buddha, all his questions were answered and he understood what the Buddha said. So he said, why should I ask other Brahmins? I have all the answers from you. So after that, he became a disciple of the Buddha and he went around praising the Buddha and also protecting the Buddha. Like in modern times, you have here Ajahn Mun of the Thai forest tradition. He also, according to the biography, he went to live in a certain cave, and this Yakkha came, and it seems this Yakkha had killed other monks who came to his cave. So he also threatened to kill this Ajahn Mun. But then he saw that Ajahn Mun was different. Ajahn Mun emitted light from the head. So after talking to Ajahn Mun, he also became a disciple.